Hey everybody, I hope that you're having a great week so far. Today I'm going to continue our Live Delighted series, even though that isn't necessarily the title. It is a way to help you live a more delightful life if you can tame the ugly beast of procrastination. Am I the only person who has trouble with procrastination? I keep hearing it around my writer circle friends, but I don't think it's necessarily unique to writers to struggle with procrastination. There are fears that feed into that. Sometimes that's part of the problem. If you can identify what those fears are, that can be one first step toward getting procrastination under control. But the good news is you don't necessarily have to kill the beast. You can collar it and tame it and use it to work for you. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, is how to make procrastination work for you and not derail you. First, like I said, know if you have a specific fear. Like sometimes I have lies and fears that lead to procrastination, and those are the things that growl at me from the shadows and whisper at me when I'm putting things off. Sometimes I'm hearing voices that are related to perfectionism. I can't get it perfect, so maybe I shouldn't do it at all. And some people have that as part of their issue with procrastination. That's something you do need to kill, is the lie. So make sure you get truth to kill that lie with, and you got to have that handy, because you can't let that monster come at you with those jaws that are going to get you with those lies of perfectionism, futility, there's no use in doing this, it's never going to work. So that fear of failure can be an issue with procrastination. I'm not going to be successful. Those things that you have that are coming against you as lies need to be muzzled on the beast of procrastination. But once you've muzzled the lies and you know the truth that you are successful in the eyes of God, even if you're not successful in the eyes of man by being obedient to what he calls you to do, and that things don't have to be a drudgery, because when you do them out of love and with a purpose, then you can find joy in them. So finding joy in the purpose, not necessarily the task, but in the purpose, the big why that you have set before you, can kill that lie of it being a drudgery, and you can find the joy that's beyond it, the joy that you're getting to get past it. Like when you're in labor and you're birthing a child, the joy that's coming is worth the work that you have to go through to get it. When you're in a marathon, you're working for a finish line. The running part, some people like that. Some people have a hard time with parts of it. So there's going to always be that runner's wall that you have to get through to get to the finish line. So know the lies that are going to come against you and muzzle those. That's the first step toward taming the beast of procrastination. The next thing that you need to do is you need to plan to win. Set a goal at the end of the day. This is what I'm going to finish by the end of the day. Set it in pencil. Don't beat yourself up about it if you don't get it done, but make sure you have a goal set and that you're serious about it and you intend to actually do it, and make it realistic. Don't set a goal that there's no way you could possibly get done. I sometimes set 2-layer goals. Like today, I knew I needed to get a blog post done, but I also had 2 Zoom calls. So get this done, get some other household tasks done, and then if I have time, I can get a running start on my thing for tomorrow. So I have the "and then if I have time" things, but I don't let them beat me up if I don't get to them. So I have my hard deadline goals and then a few extras to fill in if I do have time. So allow time, though. When you're planning to win, you need to also make sure that you leave a little bit of margin for those unexpected urgent things. That doesn't mean somebody else's problem that becomes your problem because they didn't plan necessarily, but there are always going to be some times when you have things that happen that you didn't expect. If you have absolutely no margin in your day, you're not going to get things done. So if you have a little bit of wiggle room, that's good. And you need to have enough wiggle room for the inevitable procrastination. That is one of the things that's going to demand your time. And as much as you try to kill this beast, it's really unlikely and maybe even a waste of energy to think that you're going to get rid of it altogether. So schedule your procrastination. You can schedule time for the things that are normally your distractions. What are the things that are going to keep you distracted while you're working if you don't get them done first? So sometimes those are the things that I do. I know that if I don't get my bills paid. I'm going to think about how I have to make sure I don't forget to pay my bills by the end of the day, by the time the mail comes. Well, if I do that before I start working and I have it in the mailbox or mailed in email or, e-paid, and that's all taken care of and out of the way first, then I can focus on the creative side of my brain and get out of that other side of my brain that's more technical and remembering I have to do this today, I have to do this today, I have to do this today. So I get that done. And another piece of that is whatever you can do now and get it out of the way, if it's a little thing right now, do it so that you don't have to try to remember to do it later, because that distracts your focus later when you're trying to be creative or trying to be focused on your work. So do those little things. If someone says, pray for me, I'm going to pray for you right now, because that way I don't have to remember. And frankly, if I pray for you right now, I'm more likely to remember to pray for you again later. So the Holy Spirit's involved in that, and He's going to remind me to pray for you later because we've already had that exchange with your name in it. So if I say I'm going to pray for you, I will, and I take that seriously. So that's one of the things I don't procrastinate about, even for a minute. I try to pray for that person right now. If there's something I can do this minute, then I'll go ahead and get it taken care of. If I promise somebody to do something for word weavers, I try to do that right away. So there's some things it's easier to just do now instead of trying to remember to do later. And if you can't do it now, put it on your calendar so it doesn't have to stick in your memory. Write it down, put it in your calendar, put it somewhere where you won't lose it, and then you don't have to think about it. That's the point. You don't want to have to think about all the things that you have to do. That distracts you and that takes away from your focus. So like I said, schedule time to be distracted. Schedule time to procrastinate. I know I'm going to procrastinate before I get started with my writing today. I know I am. So I get things done that I know I have to get done anyway in that time of procrastination. And I also do some things that are fun things that seem mindless, but what they're actually doing is they're stirring that fun, playful part of my brain. That fun, hi Christine, I know I didn't do this just for you, but I'm glad you're here. Those fun, playful places of your brain help you become more creative and focused on creative problem solving. So even if you're not an artist or a writer, there's creative problem solving in your job. So scheduling a little procrastination on fun things, like maybe you're looking on funny social media videos, that's actually feeding your stress management. So that helps you and is actually helping you think of storylines and fun things. I do sometimes jewelry making, so I'm looking online at jewelry making or at costume stuff for realm makers, but I schedule how much time I'm going to spend on my procrastination activities before I get started working. And I try not to go past that time because I have enough time to do X amount of procrastinating. I've scheduled it into my day, and then it doesn't eat up my work time later. So if I get those done first, then I have a buffer so that it schedules in my brain, this is what's going to, like a Pavlov's dog response, it's going to make me think about working better, and it's an immediate shift to that part of my brain that's going to focus. So for me, sometimes that's food. And food is an awesome way to help your brain remember to be triggered to focus. So if your break time between this set of tasks and the next set of tasks is grabbing a snack, have that snack be the way that your brain knows, now I'm shifting to focus on this. Sometimes people will have a certain scent that they turn on at their desk, like peppermint. Peppermint is a focus scent, so you can do that. That can be part of your brain's shifting of schedule. If you're allowed to have candles in your workspace, that might be a way of shifting. A certain type of music could be a way of cueing your brain. This is the time to shift. Or a cup of coffee. Great suggestion. Coffee's always a good idea. So that's something that can help you shift your focus back from the scheduled procrastination to what you need to do. And then you want to create a resistance to distractions, because just because your brain knows it's time to start working and all of those thoughts can start bubbling forward doesn't mean you're without the temptation of getting distracted. There will still be those sirens in the background calling to you. Oh, don't you want to do some online shopping? Don't you want to scan through your social media account again? And pull you away. If you can't resist that on your own with the motivational things that you've got around you stating your purpose and your why, if you don't have the willpower, and some of us don't, there are tools, tech tools, that can help you lock out certain accounts for a specific period of time and help you stay focused. It can just set it on, you can set it on your computer as a program, and it will stop your social media accounts from being able to go on. It'll stop all those online shoppings from being able to come on your computer, on your phone, on your laptop, whatever it is that you're working on, so that you can't be distracted. And you must focus only on this task that you have before you. So if you need help, there's help. So use what you need to have to keep you focused. And once you stay focused, once you can press through that wall, it's like that runner's wall, that resistance that you have to staying focused. Once you get going and you make yourself get past that inertia state, a flow will eventually begin. It'll be a little gurgle at first, but eventually the momentum will get going and you'll start to stay more focused. The less you switch your attention between things, the more you will develop a flow state, a focused state, an attentive state. If you are browsing from one task to the next over and over and over again, you're less likely to be able to maintain focus, and your neural pathways are less strong in that area. So it's harder at first to do that, but once you get started, that will build momentum. And then once you get going, go with that flow. Keep working and keep working until it's time to break, and then know when to break. And the best thing that you can do is not break at the end of something. If you can help it, if you can break at the beginning of the next thing, where you've already come up the hill a little bit. You know, like on a roller coaster where you go up the roller coaster and then you stop facing down for just a second. If that's where you break, where you're already facing that downhill plunge on your next project, you've already climbed up the part of the hill that's the steep part, then when you go to start your work the next day, you're already on the downhill slope of that project. You don't have to work as hard to get momentum to start a new thing. If you have to start at the bottom of a hill, it's a little harder to get going. So get a head start on tomorrow's project so that you're not starting at the very beginning. That makes it a little less intimidating. And get enough rest. Make sure you get enough rest. I keep hearing people say they don't need to sleep till they're dead. Please don't say that. You do need to sleep because you're going to work longer and harder instead of smarter if you don't get enough rest. Your tools are sharper. You will need to work less to get more done if you rest in between. You're not getting more done by doing more work and failing to rest. You're just not. You're not getting as much productivity as you think. So schedule time to rest. It is essential to actually working effectively. And make sure you feed your creativity. When you're done, have scheduled some fun things that you could look forward to at the end of your workday so that you can feed back your focus, your creativity, your mental juices can get built back up so that tomorrow when you start, you will have something to start with. You need to be stronger in your mind than the monster of procrastination and all the things that come against you to keep you from staying focused. So feed your brain, feed your creativity, and then celebrate. Celebrate your progress. Plan to make progress and celebrate it when you do. Be happy for yourself with what you've done, even if it wasn't what you scheduled to do. Still celebrate what you did get finished. So that's what I have for you today as tips. I thank every one of you for joining today. If you have any other tips, feel free to hop on my blog at divineencouragement.com and share your extra little avoid procrastination or collar that procrastination and let it work for you. Tips for the people that are watching. So I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great week. Bye-bye. Thanks.